think we could potentially be live. Are we live? Yes, we are. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Welcome to an early Swedish morning. It is currently 6:40 a.m. I woke up early today. Didn't plan to do this stream, but since I woke up a little bit earlier than anticipated, I decided to go on a little morning walk. So that's me down there. That's me. Hello, I'm waving at you. It's a beautiful, lovely, quiet morning here in Eskilstuna, in the, what should I say, a small town about an hour or so from Stockholm. Not a small town, but Swedish standards, this is like a mid-sized town. But anyway, I'm in the outskirts of the city, and I will walk out of the city and into something that's kind of a little bit like countryside. It's probably going to be a very quiet walk. Saturday morning, this early, most people are probably asleep. Before I move on with the weather report, I want to do a little shout out to Bit of a Wonder, who is this channel's mega sponsor. His help means a lot to me, so thank you very much. His channel is linked in the video description if you want to check it out. He also does walking videos, but from the US. So today's morning, it's a bit chilly actually. It is currently 15 degrees here. 15 degrees, bit cloudy, typical Swedish summer weather. It will rise. It's cold because it's early. It will rise to 19 today, but it's still fairly chilly. Yeah, 81% humidity it says. Doesn't feel like that, but yeah, maybe. And here's a typical Swedish house. You will see plenty of those. So yeah, this first part of this walk is through this residential area where there's lots of detached houses like this, and then we will get into the countryside bit in maybe 20 minutes or so. It's very windy now. I don't know if you can hear it. I can certainly feel it. So yeah, I'm wearing a t-shirt, sweater and jacket. So again, that's Swedish summer for you. No, in the daytime it's usually much warmer than this, but yeah. Lots of space. Yes, that is indeed true. That's indeed one of the major differences between Sweden and Japan. Sweden is a bigger country than Japan in terms of surface area, but it has like less than 1/10 of the population. So obviously each person has a much more space here. And this is actually my last day here in this part of Sweden. So around lunchtime today we're taking a train down to Malmö, which is the third largest city in Sweden. It's located at the southernmost tip of the country, kind of. Almost. So we will be there for a while. So I know that some of you are looking forward to seeing videos from around there, especially since it's in a way my hometown, but I have several places I call my hometown. But yeah, it's a place that's very dear to me. When will the pink shorts make a debut in Sweden? That's a very good question. Perhaps the best question that I've been asked in a very long time. I don't know, is my answer. I don't know if it will get that warm again so that I can go back to rocking my signature pink shorts. We shall find out. But I don't know. These houses, I would say, are fairly typical, like Swedish middle class home, upper middle class maybe? I don't know. Quite nice. Nothing special, nothing too fancy. Just normal Swedish style housing. So for those of you who watched my other live stream, that's like a week ago now, the live stream I did from Eskilstuna. That time I walked in the city center, which is like down there. Oh, and by the way, here's a Swedish kindergarten or preschool. I don't know if you can see it behind these trees, but it's quite spacious, surrounded by plenty of greenery. And yeah, no big roads nearby. There's a train line over there though, which could potentially make it a little bit noisy, but nothing too crazy, I think. Trains here are not that frequent. It's things like this that makes me wanna, move to Sweden to raise my daughter. I want her to have more space and greenery in her life. No stray cats or dogs. No, not really. We don't see that. We don't have much of that in Sweden. You might maybe come across a stray cat every once in a while, but stray dogs, no, never. It's always cool places to go for a run. Yeah. There's plenty of space for running here as well. So I don't expect that we will see that many cones today, but instead we might see a couple of cows if we're lucky. Cows and maybe sheep, maybe horses. We shall soon see. But again, it's very early in the morning on a weekday, so don't expect to come across that many people at this early hour. Cow Explorer, that's right, Brad Ward. And for today's walk, I expect it to be around an hour or so in length. Actually, my phone battery I didn't charge my phone, so I only have like 40% battery, so I can't make it that much longer than an hour. So hopefully I will be able to complete the little walk that I have in my head before the battery runs out. I think we'll be fine. It's not a terribly long distance anyway. Woke up so early. I did, yeah. I do wake up early sometimes. Maybe it's still a bit of jet lag, but also we go to sleep really early. Since we came here to Sweden, we've been going to sleep like 9, 10 at latest in the evenings. So yeah, I woke up around 6, but I still had like almost 7 hours of sleep. So not too bad. Need to get back in the habit of charging everything overnight. Yeah, I don't know. Like these days phones they charge so quickly, so I prefer to just top them up when I wake up rather than leaving them plugged in all night. But yeah, I very spontaneously decided to do this walk. If I had planned it beforehand, then of course I would have made sure to charge the phone. But again, for an hour and a half at most, I think we'll be fine. It's a very typical classic Swedish house, red and white, like this. They're quite nice. They last a really long time, and they're usually quite comfortable inside too. Keep the temperature comfortable all year round. Well, of course you need some heating, but they're pretty well isolated. Oh, your grandfather's hometown of Bergen. Yes, Bergen has lots of nice houses as well. Never been there myself, but it's kind of famous. We'd love to go somewhere, sometime. Seems like a beautiful place. So let me take a look at the map. I think I should turn somewhere here. Yes. Yes, yes. So I will turn. Insulated, right. In Swedish we say isolated or isolerad. But yeah, that's right. The English word is insulated. This is a very cutesy little house as well. Looks almost like something from a Moomin fairy tale or something. Oh, thank you so much, Lemillion. Thank you for the very generous super chat. Really appreciate it. That's very, very kind of you. So I'm going down this way. Then we will hit like one of these kind of sad big shopping centers. That's like a trend here in Sweden, and I guess in many other countries as well. Like build these big shopping malls at the outskirts of the city, and by doing so they kind of kill off the city center, because especially in cities like this that are so small, there's not enough customers to have both like a lively city center and shopping malls in the outskirts. So what usually happens is, since rent in the city center is more expensive, the shops move out to the outskirts instead. So that's a pretty sad development. Many Swedish flags. Yeah, I think it's just a summer thing. Really, there's no holiday or anything today, as far as I know. So, and after we pass this shopping area, then we will reach that kind of countryside area that I told you about. Togo. That's cute. The other reason for shopping centers in the outskirts is space for car parking. Yes, again, that's right. Another reason to be anti-cars, like I am. Making people dependent on cars leads to unsustainable city developments, which I strongly oppose. Hello, Tokyo Explorer. Hello, Asante Rose. More like Eskilstuna or Sweden Explorer right now, but anyway. Yeah, it's really windy. The landscape around here is relatively flat, so the wind can be kind of strong sometimes. I'm hungry, by the way. I didn't have breakfast yet. I wonder if my wife and daughter will still be asleep once I come home from this walk. I think they should be up. Around 8 they need to wake up, since we're leaving around noon today. Freshness burger time. Right, actually, I don't know if you can see it. It's a little bit too far away, but there's a sign there that says Max. And Max is a Swedish local hamburger chain. Kind of like the Swedish equivalent to Freshness, I guess. They're pretty good. For chain burgers, I think they're quite decent. Hope you got most of the packing done in advance. No, haven't started packing yet, but we don't have that much stuff. and some of it we will leave here because we will just go to Malmö for a week. Then we're actually coming back here for the last 10 days or so of our Sweden visit. So we don't need to bring everything with us. Just the essentials. A person. How many people have we seen today? I think 2. If this was Japan, we could play the people or cones game and see which we will see most of. But I think since this is Sweden, number of cones will be pretty low. If this was Japan, you know, you would have like maybe around 15 cones here surrounding this little patch of unpaved road. But yeah, Swedes don't do that. Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much. I really love the sunlight. Yeah, sunlight is morning sun is quite awesome. I like it too. I should do morning walks more often. When will you stop at a Swedish beer and hot dog place? That's right. I haven't done a single beer break yet on my Swedish walks. That is a little bit of a problem. I think it's seriously hurting my brand image. So let's see. Hopefully, once we go to the south of Sweden, we might have more luck with that. And also, yeah, if you're watching this, pressing the like button would be a very kind thing to do. That would help my channel a lot. So if you haven't done so already, please consider doing it. Thank you. I'm not sure, but we might come across a store or a shop soon with a pretty interesting name. Oh no, we won't. Okay, we won't. So anyway, here's the, now I'm approaching this shopping mall area in the outskirts of the city. So that's kind of like the Swedish equivalent to Yodobashi, I guess. Mediamarkt. This is a big like plants and greenery shop. There you have this Swedish hamburger chain that I told you about, Max. There's a Coop, which is a big supermarket, and down there is kind of the kind of main shopping mall part with lots of smaller shops inside. Right, a few ambitious cyclists. Yeah, no cones in Sweden, eh? Do we see a single cone? I don't think so. I don't see any. I see rocks instead of cones, maybe. What's the wildlife like in the Swedish countryside? Oh, I'm not good at wildlife in Sweden. Like, again, this is what we're approaching now is not like proper real countryside. If you're in the real countryside, you would have like things maybe like deer, elk, foxes, maybe even bears in some parts of Sweden, although they're pretty rare. But around here, since we're pretty close to the city, I mean, you could probably see some deer and foxes around here if you're lucky. Maybe also elks, especially like now in the early morning. Actually, it's not entirely impossible. Oh, damn it! I think, yeah. Sorry, folks. I took the wrong road. I need to go down to the other. Oh wait, I can do that here. I can turn here. It's okay. That looks like greenhouse. Yeah, this is this plant supermarket kind of place. They sell lots of plants, so the entire store is like a big greenhouse. Sounds like you need a dead cat. Yeah, I actually have my homemade windshield for the mics, but the wind today is pretty strong, so they may not be enough to filter it out, so I'm sorry about that. But for my live streams I just use a phone, not external mic or anything, so it's a little bit difficult to entirely block out the wind noise. Hey Olive, morning. Also, I'm a little bit worried about signal. I think we'll be fine. Shouldn't be too bad. At least we have a cell tower there. Hopefully that will provide enough radio waves for our entire walk today. Yes, Olive. Glad to see you could make it. I woke up really early this morning, so I decided to do a stream at 6 a.m. Well, now it's 7. But yeah. Glad that I could have some of my American viewers joining today. Where am I? Sorry, I'm a little bit lost. No, okay, I got it. Sorry, I was supposed to take that tunnel over there. So let's go back. Let's correct our mistakes, our past failures. Also, the sky looks a little bit ayashi, as we say in Japan. What did you have for dinner last night? We had, what did we have? We had salmon, a big piece of salmon that was cooked in the oven, and with that we had some boiled potatoes and shrimps and sauce made from kind of like a, how should I say, something in between like cream and yogurt, kind of like sour cream, and with some fish roe in it. It was delicious. Yeah, very Swedish, very Swedish. I think they had like a good price on salmon, so my mom bought a big, I think almost 2 kilos of salmon. So that was good, very tasty. Even Mini Explorer enjoyed it. Oishi desu, sakana. Yeah, that's right. Sounds like creme fraiche. Yeah, kind of, but still, I think it's like one of these dairy products that are a little bit unique to Sweden. Like whenever Swedes go abroad, it's called gräddfil in Swedish. Whenever Swedes go abroad, they always look for like the best substitute. But it's pretty close to, yeah, sour cream or creme fraiche. So now we are approaching, basically leaving city borders, I think. And we will reach some more green areas over here. And also a very nice residential area is coming up with some quite fancy houses by Swedish standards. This is essentially what most of Sweden looks like. Fields and forest. think it's wheat that's being grown here. We grow a lot of wheat in Sweden. Looks quite similar to Finland. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Sweden and Finland are pretty similar in many ways. Let's see if we can spot any animals. Also, we have a lot of rabbits. Oh, and so this is actually a bit of a problem. We have a lot of these slugs. We call them like murder slugs or killer slugs. These are invasive and cause a lot of harm to a lot of people. I don't know if you see, but on the road there's like slugs everywhere here. Not very nice. But I don't know if it's an increasing problem or if it has always been like that. I don't remember it from my childhood actually, that people were talking about them, but maybe I was just an ignorant child, so that could be why. So, ナメクジ。でもちょっとなんか大変なナメクジ。なんか何にも食べるみたい。Here you have a very kind of typical old Swedish countryside farming settlement. I guess that's a barn or something over there. And then there's a couple of houses where people live. あ、高橋さんありがとうございます。おはようございます。はい、天気ですね。ね、そうですね。ありがとうございます。Yeah, Brad Ward. Let's see if someone thinks I'm suspicious and call the cops on me. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. But I do think I want to change the camera actually. The sky is so blown out, so you'll get a moment of chest reveal. And there we go. Switch to the main camera. Really, there's so many slugs in Eskilstuna. Is it worse this year, or is it always this bad? I haven't lived in Sweden for so long, so I don't really remember what's normal. But that's weird. There was a lot of them down there, right, next to that field. But here, there's nothing, no slugs. Maybe that was like their favorite hangout spot. Maybe it was like the Shibuya crossing, but for slugs. And of course, apple trees. It's also very, very common in Sweden. Like, a lot of Swedes have just too much apples every year, so we give them away for free. It's kind of funny when I see how much an apple can go for in Japan. Here we sometimes treat them like garbage because there's just so many apples. I wouldn't be too surprised if we bump into some people doing like horse riding, by the way, since it's a weekend and there is like a horse riding club down here, so hopefully we can see some horses. Do you ever see wildlife eating and getting drunk of rotten fermented apples in Sweden? I think that's a thing, yeah. I've always lived in cities where it's not a thing, but I guess if you live in the countryside, that could probably happen, yeah. There's also a little airfield down here. Sometimes we see like these people like flying smaller airplanes and like glide, what do you call it? Like glide planes? I don't know. But yeah, there's a tiny little non-commercial airfield further down this road. Not that many cars on this road, even though it is like kind of a main road in this area. Lots of birds in the sky. Here's a little health clinic. And this is an elderly care home.チョコちゃんありがとうございます。綺麗な街。ここはスウェーデンのどこのあたりですか。エスキルテューナっていうの街。ストックホルムから電車でだいたい1時間ぐらいなんか西方向に行くとここに着きます。この辺に住んでる人はまあこの辺に仕事してる人もいるんですけど、ストックホルムに働いてる人もいます。So this city, there's like, yeah, I think a part of a certain percentage of the population. I don't know how big, but there's probably quite a lot of people living here in Eskilstuna who work in Stockholm, commute to Stockholm. But there's also plenty of work or companies and stuff here in this town, so many people are probably locally employed. Ah, I see some horses. I see horses over there. Can you see them? Let's see. I will try to zoom in. It's very pixelated. But there are indeed a couple of horses. Oops, not in the sky. They're on the ground. Let's see. Maybe as we get further down the road we will have some a bit closer to the fence. Over there is a riding club. Not wild horses, no. Wild horses, I don't think you would find that in Sweden. These are all domesticated, used for recreational purposes, mainly. There we go. Maybe from here you can see a little bit better. There we go. That guy is wearing some fancy clothes. The other guy is naked. Hope it's not too chilly. They should be able to cope with it. Horsey shirt, yeah. Fancy pants horse. Most of the houses really painted red? I don't know. Most of the houses, I don't think I would say most of the houses, but I think red is probably the most popular color in Sweden. But as you see, you have white ones, blue ones, yellow ones, brick ones, so a lot of different colors. Sweden の道広くてアメリカみたいですね。そうかな、アメリカみたいかな。でも広いは広いですね。この辺も時々羊がいるんですけど、今はなさそう。So sometimes there's sheep around here as well, but not see them right now. Horses don't appreciate nudity. Yeah, I guess that's right. They should though. At least they're allowed to be socially accepted for them to be nude in public. Mr. Miyazaki. Hope your Kyushu friends and family is alright. Yeah, I heard the weather is pretty severe around there right now. That's not good. Surprisingly quiet. Like I said, there's usually quite a lot of sheep here. Oh well, maybe they're still asleep or something. That's the shopping area down there. Yeah, this horse riding school. So if anyone is interested in taking up horse riding, you can probably join this school here. Do you still reach your usual daily step count in Sweden? Good question. I haven't really thought about it, but I think so, yeah. I've been walking quite a lot while here in Sweden as well, so probably in the same ballpark, I would say. Yeah, no cones here. That's too bad, eh? There's another horse looking at me, maybe. I think the horses here are probably treated very well in general in Sweden. We have pretty strict rules when it comes to those things. Yeah, instead of cats we now have horses. More horses than cats today, for sure. Cats are lurking somewhere. They should be, yeah. There's a lot of cats though in Sweden. Many people have cats as pets here. So wouldn't be surprised if we bump into one or two, but yeah, so far today it's definitely been more horses than cats. How's the weather in Japan? Well, I'm not in Japan, but the weather in Japan right now is hot and rainy, depending on where in Japan you are. Some parts are having very heavy rain, causing quite severe damage, and other parts are just hot, and humid. This is crows in Japan. No, not really. Oh, but hey, look at this. Look at this. Wow. We still have more horses than cones, but looks like the cones are going to put up a fight. Wow. Is Ray here? Oh. 27 degrees in Tokyo today. Oh, okay, that's not too bad actually. And it's way cooler now than when I was there last couple of weeks ago. Yeah, one more look at the cones. Let's just enjoy this rare, exotic sight here in Sweden. It brings us back to Japan. 3 cones protecting us from some unknown danger. The cones in Sweden are endangered species. Yep, they are. They are surely an endangered species. Now we're heading back into the residential parts again. I will slowly start heading back towards where I started the stream. Still have another maybe half an hour or so until I get there, but yeah. Also, someone asked about the wildlife in Sweden. Oh, here we have this guy. This is not one of those killer murder snails, I think. This is a different kind, probably a friendlier kind. Yeah, another animal that we have here in Sweden that has been making the news a little bit recently is we have a venomous snake. I don't know the name in English. If someone knows, maybe you can write it in the chat. There's a snake called huggorm in Swedish, which is poisonous I think it can be deadly if you're really unfortunate. And actually this year there's been reports that the number of people getting bit has increased for unclear reasons. I don't know if the weather has been particularly kind to them this year or if it's for some other reason, but yeah. Viper, is that hugorm? I did not know that. So yeah, we do have those. What does the snake look like and where does it live? I don't know. I've seen pictures of it. I don't know how to describe the look though. Where does it live? I don't know that either. I don't think... adder? Is that what it's called? Okay. Getting mixed messages here. Yeah, I'm not very... I'm as you can hear, I'm hardly an expert on this wildlife thing. But I'm sure Google can answer your questions better than I can. But actually a good friend of mine was bit this year and she was hospitalized for a while after. Common adder, common viper. Accurate. I see. I don't think they're very common in the cities though. It's more like in the countryside that you would be unfortunate enough to run into one. How's expensive in Sweden? Difficult to answer that question. Really depends what your points of reference are. But Sweden is not cheap, but I don't know how much it is like in the outskirts of a smallish city like this. I don't know how much a house would cost here. Probably less than an apartment in Tokyo, that's for sure. But yeah, I really don't know about here. If it's in Stockholm, I have a little bit more familiarity with the costs and prices. A friend of mine was having a look at an apartment in the outskirts of Stockholm, but still in a pretty nice suburb, about 20 minutes from the city center. That was like a 50... no, what did he say? I don't remember if he said 50 square meters, 40 something. And that was 2 million crowns, which was quite reasonable. That's about $200,000. Yeah. No, a little bit more, 250 maybe. And I wouldn't be surprised if you can buy yourself a smallish house around here for something in that same ballpark actually. Maybe not. Maybe you would have to go a little bit further out from the city. This is still within like walking distance to the city center, so maybe it's a little bit more expensive. But I haven't really updated myself on the housing market in this part of the country, so I don't know. I think a pretty large percentage of people in Sweden rent their homes, and I think as a kind of rough ballpark figure, paying like a third of your monthly income for your housing is kind of normal here. So food costs versus Japan, someone asked about. Let me just check the question again. Yeah, food costs in Sweden versus Japan. I would say groceries are cheaper here. If you're cooking home a lot, you're probably... Well, it depends, of course, on what... See if the signal is coming back. Can you hear me? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me now. It looks like it's recovering. Yeah, it looks like we're back at normal bitrate again. Okay, good. Yeah, so about a third for housing, except if you're living in Stockholm and you're like, there's a big shortage of houses in Stockholm, or houses and apartments. So a lot of people in Stockholm and other major cities as well, but it's mostly severe in Stockholm. People are forced to kind of sublet apartments, and then they can be quite expensive. And it's not really uncommon for people to pay like maybe more like half of their income for housing. But I think once you get a little bit older and more established, and you kind of have a stable income and maybe buy yourself a place, then I think roughly a third of your income for housing costs is a kind of reasonable ballpark figure. Do you need a car to live in the suburbs of Sweden? Yes, you do. Not in the suburbs of Stockholm, because Stockholm has good public transit. Cities like this, yeah, there are buses. You can survive without a car, I guess, but your life would not be very convenient. And those numbers, by the way, that I was talking about, like a third and half, that's for single people. Usually Swedish families, both persons work. Like, it's very rare to see like families where there's a housewife or so in Sweden. So usually you have two people working, and then the household income, like the amount paid for housing, is less than a third in many cases. But yeah, taxes are pretty high in Sweden, so take-home pay is actually not that big. What people get in their pockets after paying their taxes is not, and it's relatively kind of a small span, I would say. You don't have that many people who earns like a lot of money. We have a pretty big middle class group here. Tried driving a car in Sweden? No, I haven't tried driving a car anywhere. Since I don't have a license, that would be illegal. Sweden has high taxes, but also excellent public service like healthcare. Yes, that is true. And I think the taxes here are quite reasonable. It's actually not that different from the taxes in Japan. once you put everything together. It's like in Japan, you get billed separately for your pension payments and you get billed separately for your health insurance. But in Sweden, it's all taken care of at once and it's all baked into the tax, basically. So if you're a wage earner, you pay roughly 30% of tax in Sweden, and that includes everything. Your childcare, your healthcare, your pension, everything is included. I think it's a good system. I'm certainly not against that. And again, in Japan it's not that different. The actual tax portion is smaller maybe, but then you have to pay your health insurance and your pension separately, and also your residential tax. So right, if you have someone with a valid license teaching you, it's fine. That is true. I think you have to apply for a permit still to do it, but yes. Is income tax the only tax in Sweden? Are there property taxes, sales tax, gas tax? Yes, there's all of those. Sales tax in particular is pretty high in Sweden. Or not, well, sales tax, I guess that's the same as consumption tax, right? Or am I mixing it up now? So consumption tax in Sweden is 25%. So yeah, that's high. Shopping is expensive in Sweden. But it's lower on food. It's only 6%, I think, on food. Maybe 12. We have a few different consumption tax brackets, but most like standard, I don't know, like the most common one is 25%. But for food and other essential products, it's less. Movie tickets, books, yeah, also those things are taxed lower. But still, that makes a pretty big difference. That's one of the explanations why I think Japan feels relatively cheap. Because like buying stuff like a new computer or a phone or whatever is quite a bit cheaper. If you buy an iPhone, it's like $250. Yeah, that's right. That's probably right. Maybe more than that. Even. But also in Sweden, it's always the tax included price is what's written on consumer goods. I think there's even laws regulating that. You cannot write the pre-tax price unless it's B2B, because B2B transactions are exempt from consumption tax. It's included in the prices, yes, Russ. So the price of this on the sticker is what you pay. I think it's the same in, I think most of northern Western Europe has a kind of similar tax system. Like sales tax is high in most European countries. Maybe Sweden is the highest, but I think you won't find that many countries, at least not in the northeastern part of Europe, that has like lower than 20%. Anyway, I'm back where I started today's walk, and this is where I will leave you, because my mom's house is relatively close to here. So thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed this little walk in the outskirts of a mid-sized Swedish city. It certainly is quite a big contrast to my usual walks in Japan. Anyway, that'll be it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I can do another stream tomorrow. I cannot promise anything though, but hopefully. Fingers crossed. Okay, bye bye. Oh, what's the phone battery now? Jenny asks. Now it's 16%. Okay, thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye. Mata ne.